I'm an office worker, Henry Johnson. I got a job right after high school, so now, at 23, I'm in my 5th year. From the start, my superiors were all kind to me, the youngest one with no part-time job experience. I've worked hard, even if ineffectively at times, and have become quite accustomed to this job. And so, in the spring of my 5th year, I was assigned to be the chief of a project for the first time. This was the start of a tumultuous period.
I'm Lisa Smith. Pleased to meet y'all.
A newly hired employee in her first year out of college greeted me like this on the first day of the fiscal year. With her dazzling looks and a brimming, confident smile, she didn't seem nervous from day one. No surprise there. She is the only daughter of one of the company's presidents. Being the boss's daughter, she displays an imposing attitude unfitting of a new hire. Some male employees seem pretty pleased due to her appearance, but everybody is visibly taken aback by her familiarity, except for me. Yes, I would be surprised by a new employee, the president's daughter or not, showing such imposing behavior on our first meeting, but I wasn't because I already knew her very well.
Oh, Henry's still here. Surprisingly persistent. And you?
I had often heard that sarcastic tone until 5 years ago. Unpleasant memories flashed back. Yay, Lisa, still hanging in there.
You've dyed your hair. Trying to act all cool now. Having a life debut as an adult. Too late. Hilarious.
Yes, she was my high school classmate. Dyeing hair was against the rules in high school. I'm not trying to have any debut. When I responded modestly, she said, "Wow, talking back now. How cheeky. We're the same age, cheeky." In fact, I'm technically her senior in this workplace. But for Lisa, that didn't matter. Whether she's a new employee or whatever, she thinks it's allowed because she's the president's daughter. Even if not for that, it was futile to argue with her as she's been hearty since old times. Whatever I would respond with, I would only get a condescending response in return. This was something I experienced many times during high school. I first met Lisa in the spring of my sophomore year in high school. Since the start of the term, she stood out and seemed to be at the top of the girls' group. On the other hand, as for me, I do have friends, but not many, and I'm not particularly conspicuous or noteworthy. In the school hierarchy, I'm about average or maybe a bit below. I had no intention to engage with Lisa or her group, yet she started making sarcastic remarks from our first meeting.
Hey, is that fun?
I was into card games at the time and played them with my friends during breaks. Lisa, who spied on us, purposely said that, "Well, it's fun." When I replied, she laughed loudly and said, "Real geeky stuff, just like a kid, doing the same thing as elementary students."
Geeks are really like kids, aren't they? Doing stuff that elementary kids do.
Did she approach me just to say such a thing even though we had never spoken before? I couldn't understand the meaning behind that action at all, and I felt a sort of disdain. From my perspective, people who break school rules with makeup and accessories and get scolded by the teacher every day for the same thing seem way more childish, you know. Back then, I wasn't thinking about the consequences, so I inadvertently spoke my mind. Then, Lisa got furious. She must have been really offended, as she started picking on me almost every day thereafter. I've gotten myself into trouble. I shouldn't have said that. Even though I regretted it internally, it was too late. Hoping she'd get tired of me quickly, I stopped responding at some point and just listened, which probably made her think she won. Eventually, we ended up in the same class for 3 years, and I had to endure her sarcasm every day. Even though it wasn't serious bullying, being constantly subjected to unpleasant remarks was quite mentally draining. The worst part was when she learned about my job placement after graduation.
Hey, I heard you've got a job lined up.
I really should have only told my close friends, but somehow, Lisa knew. Puzzled, I responded, "Well,
So pathetic, can't even go to college. Are you Pua by any chance? If you're born into the wrong family, life really is tough. Huh, I'm really glad I'm me.
Eck. Why do I have to listen to Lisa bragging on top of my job news? It's completely irrelevant. While I hoped she would leave soon, Lisa dropped a bombshell.
I heard from the teacher, your workplace is going to be my dad's company.
What? This was indeed shocking. I knew her father was the CEO, and since I researched for the interview, I knew the CEO's last name was the same as her. But it's a common name, and I never thought they would be related. To think that I finally secured a job, but it had to be at the company owned by a classmate I dislike. I couldn't hide my astonishment.
Hilarious, you seem displeased. Don't worry, I also plan to join my dad's company after graduating from college. But you probably won't last even 5 years, so we won't be working together.
She laughed aloud. She kept looking down on me until graduation, using it as material for her jokes.
I'm joining my dad's company. I can get in without lifting a finger, unlike you, studying so hard for the exams. So pitiful. His company is so stylish. This guy will definitely stick out like a sore thumb.
Until the day of the graduation ceremony, I had to endure her sarcasm. When I finally got the job, I thought I was finally free from Lisa. Those 5 years passed quickly. I knew she would join someday. Even knowing we would meet again, I stayed with this company because I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to see her face ever again, and I could have searched for another job. But if I wasn't there when she came 5 years later, she would surely say, I knew he wouldn't be here, and laugh. The mere thought was unbearable. So, I will grow and surprise her when she joins. I will definitely show her. With this thought, I worked hard for 5 years, but reality didn't go as planned. She joined my project where I served as the chief immediately after she joined the company. I honestly didn't want to deal with her, but being close would give more opportunities to prove myself, so I was more motivated than ever. But she was as arrogant as before, even more so than in high school.
Having Henry as a leader is nothing but worrisome. Shouldn't I do it instead?
I heard someone making snide comments during the meeting. Is this discussion even meaningful? Why not just do it this way? And making obviously off-the-mark suggestions as if they were right, and to top it off, leaving early without any apology for being late. Lisa's selfishness quickly became the talk of the entire company, but she seemed not to care at all. Every time she would say, "Daddy would forgive me," or "I'm the boss's daughter, so I'm special, right?" invoking the name of the boss, creating a situation where no one could reprimand her. That's why I realized she doesn't care about my work performance, not even a bit, and getting back at her is probably impossible for a lifetime. So, at the very least, I want to successfully complete this project, where I serve as a leader for the first time. That's how my wishes gradually changed. But, good job, everyone. The moment it was time to leave that day, Lisa rose from her seat to leave. It's the standard leaving time, and our company isn't a sweatshop, so there's no constant need for overtime. But hey, Lisa, what about the document due today? I had to ask because I was genuinely worried. There were documents to that day, decided weeks in advance, and there was no submission from Lisa.
Oh, I forgot. Henry, you do it.
Hearing that response, I couldn't stay silent. No, it's impossible. I have a lot of things to do, and everyone else is working. You can't just delegate, you need to finish your own task responsibly. I would prefer to ignore this in private life, but it's work, so I can't do that. It would be problematic if this inconvenience reaches other people and clients. Then, perhaps not liking being scolded for a change, Lisa raised her voice a bit and said,
It's over the top not to be able to leave on time. I was busy. It's not my fault you assigned more work than could be finished by the deadline.
Indeed, I think I am responsible for the workload allocation, but honestly, I knew from the beginning that she does not work earnestly. That's why I only assigned her basic document creation, and she spends most of her work hours looking at cosmetics on the computer or playing with her smartphone. It's not like I can just say, "Oh, is that so?" when she says she was busy and then tries to leave on time. What were you busy with? What work did you do today? Can you say that in front of the other employees who worked hard all day? Even the articulate Lisa could find no words to retort and just glared at me in silence. Eventually, she said, "Impossible things are impossible. I have a party to attend. Overtime is out of the question. If you say annoying things anymore, I'll tell my daddy. You'll be fired immediately," and left towards the exit. Many colleagues feared these words, and the majority of employees could not reprimand her, who is a newcomer. But that's wrong when everyone is working so hard. It's ridiculous that I, who am working seriously at the company, would get fired, and she, who is playing around, would act superior. If that really happens, it would be too absurd. I realized that saying anything more would be useless and was thinking about what to do next. I was thinking that even my own work would take long, but maybe if I stay up all night, I can finish everything. I thought I had done my best every day, but I had taken on too much work considering not making others work overtime. That's why I can't handle such troubles well. Thinking about it, maybe Lisa is right. Maybe it's my allocation mistake. Maybe I can't complain even if I get fired. Just when I was feeling down.
Ouch!
I heard Lisa's voice from the door and looked that way. There was a stranger, a middle-aged man I've never seen before, dressed in a neat and clean suit. Wondering who he was, I heard Lisa's voice saying, "Daddy, why?" and finally understood. That person was the boss I was meeting for the first time. If the boss, who dotes on his daughter, had seen the current situation, this could be a quick resolution. Am I getting fired immediately? I was frozen, fearing what the boss might say. But soon, I noticed something strange about Lisa.
Well,
I thought she would set him on me, saying I was bullying her and get me fired, but she seemed flustered. Then, no need to say anything. The boss simply uttered those words. Then, unusually, Lisa fell silent, not arguing back. Seeing such a compliant Lisa was, of course, a first.
"You are fired today."
With the boss's next words, the room fell into a silent hush. So, it's come to this. Even the boss is just human. Seeing his daughter distressed close at hand, of course, doesn't feel good. But was I wrong? What was the right course of action as the leader? It's too late to regret now, but it's undeniably frustrating. "Yes, I am very sorry," I muttered my response. I had a lot I wanted to object to. But talking back to the boss wouldn't change the outcome, I believe. He is, after all, Lisa's father. The moment I completely gave up.
"No, you have nothing to apologize for."
The boss said so. I, surprised, looked up. Huh? And there, the bewildered expression of the boss and the pale-faced Lisa were seen.
"The one who's getting fired is you, Lisa. Did I ever say you can do whatever you like just because I'm the boss's daughter? You seem to misunderstand something. I let you in this company because I thought it would be troublesome for others to hire someone as ignorant and as selfish as you are. So it wasn't about letting you do what you want here. It was about hoping you'd learn some life lessons. Seems like it didn't get through."
Observing this scene, the boss seemed to have a completely different character than I had imagined. I thought he was doting and spoiling Lisa. Rather, he had a strict aura, and Lisa seemed nervous.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'll be serious from now on.
"As the boss, I can't employ someone who acts selfishly without considering the inconvenience to other employees."
Even as Lisa was nearly in tears apologizing, there was no sign of forgiveness. In the end, while ignoring Lisa, he apologized sincerely to us, the employees.
"I'm truly sorry for the trouble my daughter has caused. Please let me do Lisa's remaining work from now on."
We were surprised at the boss's offer and did hesitate at first, but he insisted, so we eventually let him. Lisa kept sobbing and begging her father to reconsider, but the boss never conceded. It was a pitiful sight, unimaginable from her usually haughty demeanor, but given her past behaviors, no one stood up for her. Thanks to the boss, the documentation was completed on time, and the project was a success. It's rare for the boss, who's mostly at our overseas offices, to be at the headquarters, and my superiors were wide-eyed seeing the boss doing the kind of documentation work a newbie does. I was tense all the way, and my palms were sweaty, but working with him, I realized that although the boss is strict, he is a wonderful person who cares about his employees. I can't understand why his daughter turned out like that. Eventually, Lisa was fired. I heard it through the grapevine, so I'm not sure if it's true, but apparently, boss told her if this company won't do, then the next step is monastery training. Does that mean she might be meditating now? I don't know what she is actually doing now, but if she learns from this and even a bit of her attitude changes to be more like the average person, that would be something. I think